Thank you, Thierry. You are truly a visionary in what you've created here, and what you all have been doing the last 2 or 3 days resonates with the Obama-Clinton administration, and I want to just say a few words about that. I also want to thank our Moroccan hosts for this wonderful dinner. When President Obama spoke in Cairo, and subsequently in Moscow and in Accra, Ghana, and at the UN several weeks ago, he articulated a policy for the United States government that represents a change. And I want to focus on very quickly on three aspects of that change that relates very much to this subject of governance, which I think is at the center of what we're trying to do in the U.S. government. The first piece of what President Obama has talked about is a new type of principled engagement by the United States and by other governments at the United Nations, in bilateral relations, in trying to find new ways to advance our common agenda. And so in September, I was in Geneva at the UN Human Rights Council, where we helped with the government of Egypt to create a resolution that brought together the Organization of Islamic Conference and the European Union and others around the issue of freedom of expression, an issue that had caused great debate in previous years, but we found rather than focusing on what divides us, we focused on what brings us together. The second thing that I think animates what we're trying to do, and it relates very much to this subject of governance, is to focus on a universal set, a single set of human rights and democracy standards, one set of rules for the entire world, including ourselves. And so it was on his second day in office that President Obama issued 3 executive orders, which called, among other things, for the closure of the detention facility in Guantanamo and an end to official cruelty by all U.S. officials. It's critical that we lead by example. And the third piece of what we've promised to do and are trying to do is to tell the truth, to be forthright where we see deficiencies, either in the international system, the UN and other international and regional organizations, or in the way that bilateral relations apply. We have the architecture of the post-World War II era in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, humanitarian law, refugee law, the international financial institutions. We're now 60 years later, and I think, again, speaking to this important subject of governance, we need new rules of the road to guide us in the 21st century. The second piece of it is that it's no longer just states that are in the mix. And I know a number of you here are from the corporate sector. We need to think about private-public partnerships and engagement. And this is something that Secretary Clinton is also very keen to do. We need, I think, to look at companies in today's world. Out of the 100 biggest economies, only 50 are governments. The other 50 are private actors. And so we need companies to both embrace their responsibility, their corporate responsibility to be good citizens, whether in the global supply chain or in the extractive industries. But we also need to harness the power of the corporate sector to help us solve some of these problems. My last comment, and I promise that this will be brief, the third component of where we need new rules of the road relates to the relationship of government and civil society. When we talk about democracy, and that's part of what my job is in the U.S. government, we have to have a bigger vision than just elections. We need to look at what does a democratic society look like. It's a society where there's the rule of law, where there's transparency, where there's an independent press, and where there's a vital civil society that, among other things, is empowering women. Those are governance issues. And it's critical today, more than ever, that we find space, as you've done in your World Policy Conference, to bring together not only governments, not only the corporate sector, but also the vital voices of civil society to help us solve the problems of today. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I thank you for giving me the time, and I wish you good luck in your joint enterprise. Thank you.